So we're going to play about a minute. We've taken it out. I would encourage anyone who loves college football to dive into the Dabo Swinney drama. It's fantastic. The year of coaches saying entirely too much continues, as Dabo Swinney had an incredible 5-minute rant on his coach's show, defending himself, decrying expectations. It's really fascinating. It's something that you just do not hear from these coaches who are normally so reserved, so poised. I would say go listen to the whole thing. Our wonderful producer, Pat Gunther, as PG, has done a fantastic job of giving you kind of the core minute and a half that I think really highlights the valuable talking points. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to, Kevin says Dabo rant absolutely exceeded my expectations. It's crazy. Like all the group texts are talking about it. My friends are talking about listening to it all in the shower. Everybody's like, oh my God, dude, this is way better than anything I would have expected. Again, so listen to the whole thing, but we've pared it down a bit. So here is a caller called in, Tyler called to the coach's show, and apparently went on a bit of a rant himself, saying, Dabo, how the hell are you going to be 4-4, making $11.5 million? And when he was finally done, here's what Dabo had to say.
I've listened to enough of you, Tyler. Listen, you can have all your opinions that you want. All right. I don't know how old you are. Don't really care. All right. But let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation. And that's the problem. Listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want, and you can apply for the job, and good luck to you. All right. I used to tell people all the time, they'd say, what's the difference in Clemson? Let me tell you, at some places there's an expectation, but at Clemson there's an appreciation. And what's happened at Clemson is we've won so much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything. People like you, I'm sure you've never made any bad decisions. I'm sure you've lived a perfect life. I'm sure you've led a bunch of people. I'm sure you do your job in front. So to answer your question, I started as the lowest paid coach in this freaking business. All right. And I'm where I am because I've worked my ass off every single day. And I ain't going to let some smart ass kid get on this phone and create this stuff. So if you got a problem with that, I don't care. All right. I work for the board of trustees, the president, and the AD. And if they're tired of me leading this program, all they got to do is let me know. I'll go somewhere else. But there ain't one thing in my life that I've ever failed at, Tyler.
Man,
so, the best is today. Dabo in his press conference comes up and says, "Hey, what's everyone wearing for Halloween?" And someone said, "Hey, I'm going to dress up as Tyler." And I'll just
Wait, somebody said that to him at the press conference,
and he laughed. Everyone started dying laughing in the press conference. It was just too good. Too good.
Tyler let's be clear. Tyler from Spartanburg just entered the Hall of Fame right next to Sliced Bread. We got Sliced Bread. We got Tyler from Spartanburg. I wish I could remember the person who called into O's show that one time, but he obviously doesn't get it. Okay, so a couple things here. First, I've never quite heard Dabo like this. I've never heard him curse, right? And he talked about working his ass off, and he talked about not from, I'm not going to listen from stupid ass kid. I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically that, right? Secondly, I'm a bit of a mixed bag because in the longer answer, you hear him talk about, I've never failed at anything. Like, I wanted to graduate from college. I got 2 degrees. I want to play football at Alabama. I got 3 letters. I want to be a head coach. I won national championship. And I'm kind of like, okay, like I feel you. Like F him, Dabo. Speak your truth. Stand in your business. So in some ways, I kind of like Dabo defend himself. I kind of like him putting his nuts on Tyler's face and saying, okay, Tyler, who you going to get? You want me out? You want me go? Who you going to go get? Because that's real. Like Clemson wasn't shit before Dabo came.
Yeah.
And if he left right now, who would you get that would make you think you were going to actually be good? The only thing that I feel like Dabo really fucks up here, Aaron, he shows a couple of fundamental misunderstandings. One's about the expectation or One's about how we're going to treat you when you make $11.5 million. But the biggest one to me, man, is he sounds like a man who wants to have his cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that, he wants the rewards of great success, the money, the love, the praise, with none of the consequences.
Yep.
Because when you're in any business, I don't give a fuck what is, football, whatever, in any business, when you have a ton of success, expectations rise. Like go ask the successful salesperson who has a record year. And then the next year, his record year becomes the quota, becomes his baseline. You think he's happy about it? No, he's pissed. But it is what it is. Like, nobody's going to treat you like they did when you were exceeding expectations going 9-3, when you've won 11 games in a row, 10 games in a row, 11 years in a row. Like, when you've won that much, 4-4 is going to piss people off. Yeah. And that's just the reality of the situation. As you know, as angry as you are, the problem is not Tyler or the expectation. The problem is the fact you're 4-4. Yeah. And you look like a coach who's refusing to adapt to the times.
Well, that's it. That last part is what you hit right there, T-Bob. It's not the fact that they're 4-4, and that's part of the problem. Like, if you're gonna have a bad year, everyone has bad years. Hell, Nick Saban has had maybe a couple here or there where they're like a 2-loss team. Like, that is kind of a bad season for Alabama's 10-2. And that's kind of the expectations at Clemson of like, okay, if we're not gonna win the ACC, if we're not gonna be in the playoffs, at least we're 9-10 wins, not 4-4. And you look at the rest of the schedule and kind of the hesitation of, are we gonna make a bowl game? And we're a few days away from going against Notre Dame and being a 4-5 football team all of a sudden, and have to find two more wins to even make it to a bowl. That's a little bit too far of a drop. But I think what's really irking everyone is how you finished off that statement, is because he's not adapting to times. It's everyone else has found a way to win in this new era. Nick Saban has brought in guys to the transfer portal. Hell, FSU went out there and rebuilt their roster through the transfer portal. Like, everyone is doing it and having a lot of, not everyone's is successful, but we are seeing good, successful stories because of going out there and managing certain aspects of a football team by bringing guys in. You're refusing to do it. You have refused to embrace the NIL world. That's college football today. It is. So if you're winning without doing that, great. But if you're losing and you're not doing that, that's the first thing people are going to point to. Dabo, you didn't have great receivers last year. You didn't go out there and bring in receivers this offseason. You don't have a great offensive line. You didn't go out there and bring in offensive linemen. I think one of the craziest stats that I heard today was, they've had 50 guys drafted over the numerous years. Only 3 of them have been from the offensive line position. They have not built this team in a way that's sustainable when it comes to winning in the trenches. And you've seen that downfall now for the past couple of years. They do it on defense. They don't do it at the offensive line. Why didn't you go out there and bring in talented offensive linemen? So you've somewhat brought this on yourself, Dabo. But I do think it's taken a little bit too far from fans, because I do respect him as a coach. He has won 2 national championships. He deserves a little bit more leeway. But it's kind of a give and take a little bit right now.
Well, but that's the problem. It's not like he's not getting the leeway. He's not going to be fired.
No, he's not going to get fired.
Right? Like Michael DiVincenzi says, I'm not a big Dabo fan, but in his defense, it's the first mediocre year in a while. Even Bobby Bowden had mediocre seasons. It just can't be sustained mediocrity. Well, and let's be clear, though. Like, and Aaron's right in that what is making it worse for Clemson fans is that they believe that Dabo's kind of obstinately refusing to evolve, refusing to adapt, and that's going to be the death sentence here. But again, Dabo's getting leeway. He's not the board of trustees, like he said, nobody's threatening to fire Dabo. His job's not in
one
peril.
Bad year. It's the first
it's one bad year.
It's one bad year.
My question is, but that's kind of where I have a little bit of problem with Dabo. Again, I kind of appreciate him, kind of defending himself, saying, okay, it is what it is. But I just hate this idea of Clemson should be appreciative of this 4-4 season. Like, it just ignores reality. It's not how reality works. When you win 10 games, 11 years in a row, and you win 11 games, 8 of those years, and we've always talked about from 15 to 21, I believe you won 6 ACC championships in a row. You won 2 national championships. You played for a third. I want to say you made the playoffs maybe every single one of those years. Yeah, bro. Like, that is going to warp people's perspective. You lose perspective. It's just real. Like to me, telling people that it's the fans that are the problem. That's where it just gets crazy to me, and that's where Dabo loses me. And again, and also, like, here's the thing: it just doesn't. No, okay, nobody. Whenever you are the person in the job making the money, you're always going to have a different perspective than those on the outside. But the bottom line is, nobody feels bad for you when you make $11.5 million. Full stop. It is what it is, because everybody's out here trying to make it. I'm just like a fucking wizard sitting in a random office in a building, surrounded by no one, that I just spend all day in this office alone talking to a microphone to get money, to pay for school, provide for my family. Like, nobody feels bad for you when you make $11.5 million. The job is the job. And right now,
are you trying to say we should feel bad for you, T-Bob? Are you trying to get some sympathy?
No. Okay. What I'm saying
or
is,
are you trying to say that you make $11.5 million too?
I'm saying everybody's got their own fucking weird grind that they're on, trying to make it in this world. And it all comes with different levels of expectation and everything else. And the bottom line is, if you make $11.5 million, I'm not going to feel bad that Tyler from fucking Spartanburg hurt your feelings.
No.
And so that's a little bit of the issue here with me.
No, I'm not. I don't feel bad for Dabo. I'm just more from a fan's perspective of, like, y'all need to just chill just a little bit, because it is just one season.
No,
for all we know,
it's unrealistic. It is what it is, dude. If you're gonna get the people that call into coaches shows are the most passionate fans, and the most passionate fans are gonna be pissed when you're fucking up. They're 4-4. 4-4. That got Coach O fired immediately at LSU. Going 500 2 years in a row.
Coach O did not have the sustainability of what Dabo has built. There's a difference.
I didn't say that Dabo should be fired. No. I didn't say Dabo should be fired. I'm just saying,
I have no problem with what he said. That's all I got to say. Like, I have no issue with his tone, or him, getting to the breaking point of, like, I'm going to release some anger here, and I'm going to finally speak my mind instead of being Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Perfect. I'm going to let you know how I truly feel. And I think that there is a level of ungratefulness, and it is understandable. I get all that.
Why should fans be grateful? It is what it is, dude.
I'm not saying they have to be grateful.
What do I have to thank you for refusing to use the transfer portal and going 4-4 and blaming DJU only for Cade Klubnik to be even worse? Like, what? I just have to forgive everything you did because what you've done in the past. That's why you're paid $11.5 million. I'm not
saying that any Clemson fan should be happy and just say, "Ho hum, we'll just move on and forget about the season." All I'm saying is it's a one-time thing that's happened one time in the past 12 years, 13 years.
Yeah. So the more rational fans will be like, they'll say that. They'll be like, I'm a little frustrated, Dabo, but it's cool. But what I'm saying is, I'm here to defend the psychos, because the psychos are the ones that care the most. And I think that's fine, though. Like, I'm not saying it's rational, and I'm not saying it's how I would be. But I do understand it. And for Dabo to act like it's out of pocket, that's what I disagree with, because nothing is out of pocket when you set the expectation that high and you're paid $11.5 million. Harrison Darby, the $2 super chat. How are you wearing that Gandalf fit with shingles? It's awful. I still don't feel great. In fact, just like a minute or two ago, I was wondering if I was about to pass out while trying to sit here upright. Feels like I got a brick lodged in my lungs.
Take it off. No judging.
No, it's not that. I just mean the shingles, not the costume.
Yeah, let me ask you this question here. If he had embraced this offseason, the transfer portal and NIL, and say he brought in certain position groups, and just say it just wasn't clicking, and we're in the same situation, but he did do all those other things, would he still be in this kind of a somewhat shitstorm right now for in the eyes of certain Clemson fans?
No, I think Greg and Nick Talent actually in the chat have very good comments on this. Greg says, the point is, people have seen this coming due to Dabo refusing to adapt to the new CFB meta. And then Nick says, this is new territory for Dabo. He hasn't been criticized very much. Absolutely right, Greg. He refused to change and adapt. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, if he had gone and he had been, we support NIL. We want to pay our players. We want our players to be able to benefit off of their talents. And he had gone to the transfer portal and gotten guys that had maybe missed. No, absolutely, fans would be more forgiving of it. The problem is that, as Greg just pointed out, this feels like your worst fears being realized.
Yep.
Clemson, even the bullish, even the optimistic Clemson fans were probably like, as some Tiger fans, I'm sure, were like, oh my God, dude, Dabo's not adapting. We're going to fall behind. They're like, no. Look at the blue chip ratio. we're still just as good as everyone else, even after transfer portal. You got a couple guys. It's still Dabo. What did we say all off season, right? Not you, but a lot of people were like, I mean, they still won 11 games last year or whatever it was, 10 games. And
they're one game away from being in the college football playoff.
Exactly.
They're 1 game away.
So it's a situation where what in the offseason could have been deemed maybe an irrational fear now feels all too real. As the thing that the most negative of Clemson fans were saying was going to come to pass has now come to pass. And so that is ultimately, so but he can change that. If he goes out there and he starts to engage with it, maybe he starts to change that example.
Is this a similar situation to what we had this offseason at A&M, where Jimbo was under such heat about his offense and giving up the reins? He finally got rid of that power, brings in an OC, gives him the opportunity to run in, just said, okay, I can't take it anymore. Like, I will bring someone in. I will evolve offensively. I'll stop calling the plays. I will hand it over. Boom. He did. Hasn't really helped a ton, but at least, he has someone to at least blame. As do you think that Dabo has gone to the point right now where he has said, I feel the heat, I feel the pressure, I do like to be liked, and I feel like there's a growing population of people that don't like me now. I will give in and I'll hit the portal. I'll go out there and get 10 guys. I'll revamp our offensive line. I'll revamp our receivers. Hell, I'll go bring in another quarterback to bring some competition into that room, because I'll be honest, like I told everyone this entire offseason, Cade is not the answer. And I've seen enough of Cade, and he's played enough football to know that he is not the quarterback that's going to get you back to winning championships in the next 2 years. He's not that guy.